Savage on your side, your wisdom guided oracle. And we are having coffee today in my beautiful Brave Heart mug. We kind of need one of these right now. The Brave Heart really is a necessary thing. Bravery, the warrior. The warriors are pretty tough on themselves, and Archangel Michael is the one that's coming through with the message this morning. I certainly have been grappling with some real big self awareness that isn't lovely, some self judgment that, and when we are in self judgment, this is what we put out into the world. The prickliness, the reactivity of people is coming from their seat of pain. And helping or knowing that is a help to not feel too um, not make it personal, because people speak from their pain most of the time, and they're projecting what they're feeling inside. And I certainly was aware of that this morning, doing that this morning. And I've been working through a specific couple, a set of energies. We are in Wonderful Warrior Wednesday to you too, April. That's a lovely way to look at Wednesdays. Um, we are in this new moon, and it is dark, but it is a time of new beginnings. And so I went into this formation of a life plan that I need to do right now because of something I've let go. We are in a chrysalis. We are in that very contained aspect. We are not yet out into the world with our transformation, the world in itself. We are all in a chrysalis. This is a very tight time for many of us, and it's that inward time. It is the time to be looking at ourselves, and man, this inner self is kind of mean. I thought, I'd had a good handle on the mean girl, and while I do have a handle on her and I'm aware of her, she goes deep. And so there are just some deep seated old things coming up and some intolerances. And it started out with me realizing how intolerant I am of my imperfections. And that's rough. We are never going to be perfect, and if we let the imperfections guide us, and that self beating up because of the imperfections, it's going to take us a little bit longer to get this chrysalis open into the new transformation that we are. This Libra new moon that we are just in yesterday, we are still in that energy, is asking us to look at how we want to be in balance moving forward. We've got a lot of Venus energy, and certainly self-love is always a great thing to choose to bring in, and definitely need that myself, because as true for many, I'm hardest on myself. But the projection I put out when I'm really in that energy is not kindness. It is judgment. And I was on a site today just reading some things, and it's a lovely post in our neighborhood about asking, what are you in need of? I saw another community do this. Let's see if we can help each other out. And there were just some real lovely back and forth. Oh, I've got some of that. I've got that. How can I help? And then there were some others that were lovely, and people just saying, wow, this is lovely. Let's keep it going. And I was in a couple of them projecting judgment. And part of that comes from a fear. And I, in fact, last night was working on what is it that I fear most, and failure is one of them. And what does failure look like for me? What is failure? Still haven't come up with that. So I'm working on that today, because this self-awareness needs to happen. And there was one woman that posted they needed all these things done to their house for their lovely young child who is in a wheelchair. And I happen to know the people a little bit from past. And now they've got a new baby, they've got other kids, and they just keep having kids. And the part of me that was very judgmental just, well, first thing, quit having more kids that other people have to take care of. That's not very kind. And there is a certain common sense practicality to that. But still, It is not for me to judge. And that, again, like I said, I'm very hard on myself, and that comes through. And this is kind of where I'm at right now. So it's not been the kindest energy that I prefer to be in, because I'm not in that inside. Certainly not being kind to myself, not loving. And the energy of compassion is one that comes up. So the first card wanting to come through is the Chariot. Yay! The Chariot is all about victory. And this, like, you will get through this, you will come out on the other side victorious. And that's lovely. Everything I have worked for, including the obstacles I have faced and overcome, is now part of this time of victory. That is one reason we are in this time when the energy is so challenging, because we need to root out what is still fulminant and unyielding and big in our field. And it's generally something we've already worked with a few times, but it was a big one. It went in hugely, whether it went in ancestrally. Donna says, how do I overcome comparing myself to other awakened ones? Good question, Donna. That's a self-judgment. Something that says we, in the way we are not enough. So that's a program running in you. I'm not enough. I'm never enough. I'm right there with you, Donna. I see things in everything other lovely dynamic people are doing. I should be doing that. I mean, how mean is that? I should be doing everything. It is not okay that I'm not doing everything. So those kind of thoughts give you root for going, oh, hello, Mindy, for going, oh, yeah, that is something in here. But take heart. Victory is at hand. And this is a world card as well. This is not just for us, but it really does start microscopically. Oh, Candy, that's lovely. I'm chuckling because of the typo. At least you see that issue and you're fixing it. That's lice. I do that so many times, and I am not judging you because I don't judge me on it. I mean, it's just like, that's at least one of the things I don't judge myself on. So the next card is the Messenger, or the Queen of Air, setting healthy boundaries. Very, very light, airy, light, airy card, but a beautiful kindness there. We have to have boundaries within ourselves in order to protect ourselves from the energies of others that are not in alignment with how we want to be, and who would usurp our energies. And the thing is we're never going to be perfect. And that is another, oh, love. I thought you meant that's nice. That's love. I know. Don't you love how the autocorrect chooses certain words? I find I either lobe a lot or I live a lot when I'm trying to send love. So interesting. And as much as I choose love in what I'm writing, you would think autocorrect would go there first, but they don't. So the Queen of Air, setting healthy boundaries, strong self-esteem, calculated and shrewd decisions. Calculation comes with information. If we are not aware of what is going on inside us, we can't change anything. That awareness is often not comfortable, and that is absolutely where many of us are right now. The shadows coming up are not comfortable because they're really kind, loving, and supportive. But in the overall, they are, because we have to know what they are in order to heal that aspect that is fueling the shadow beliefs. So that not enough is huge. Clear communication, well organized, and shrewd decisions. Open, willing, and ready to guide me. And that the clarity for me is huge, because it is when I am in the unclear space that I am least comfortable, because I know I'm feeling not okay, but I'm unclear as to where I either need to go with it or where it's coming from. So that open, willing, and ready is huge for bringing in more of the information, things that are happening, like me happening on that thread, which was lovely, and me being very aware of how not kind and compassionate I was. Now, There's a certain amount of kind and compassionate that is healthy, but the one who fuels the victimhood is a co-creator of victimhood, codependent. Because codependents don't want people to heal, because then who's going to be dependent on them? And so that victimhood is very much stands out to me, and it's something I will not fuel. But when people are actually working to help themselves, I'm always there. That's how because that's empowerment. That is understanding that we are the healer of ourselves first, with the help of our higher power, our angels, our guides, our companions. We can't heal others if we're not healing ourselves at the same time. We're never going to be done with what we came here. Yeah, yes, April, that's true. Lice are perfect if we are being nitpicky. Maybe we have spiritual lice. Absolutely. And nitpicky, truth. I mean, that's like those little things, like some of those posts. To me, it was just like, well, a couple of them was like, you're being greedy. This isn't need, this is want. And, one person gave them an idea for a goat shed that is perfectly fine. That gives them protection. And certainly you can add some boat to these pallets that will work well for that, because already I have that. And so what she was wanting was not really a need. It was better. And to me, yeah, anyway, my own judgment, but that's where I went with it. It was like, you don't need that. This is a want. And there are people who need a lot. And so 9 of Air is the next card that came up, and that's all about shifting negative self-talk. The negative self-talk is that beacon for us, knowing that it is that awareness saying, listen what's going on inside you. Listen to what is still present here. You want to go inward and work on that. Where did it start? Is it ancestral? What is it producing in my life? And for me, that negative self-talk is pretty intolerant, because I am the most intolerant of myself. And when I am feeling the most beat up by myself is when I'm casting the most judgment. The people in the world that are screaming the loudest about all the injustice and spewing the hatred are the ones that are the most damaged. That does not mean you're the doormat that you allow them to run over the top of you. That's an awareness, realizing that they are very damaged and going, ooh, if they're right in your field, it's like the boundaries need to go up. I am pulling away from this energy because I have work to do, and this is not going to support that work. This is going to create more dissonance inside myself and grow these shadows that are coming up. The shadows come up for our awareness. What is still present in our life? The next card that came up was the 5 of Fire. Creative brainstorming. Unity in diversity. This is allowing people their differences and looking for ways to come together in spite of that, and to find interest and a fullness in the diversity of people. And this means their life experience. And when I'm in my highest self, the people that are putting out the victim consciousness, it's very different from being a victim. Victim consciousness does not want to do any work themselves. They are wimpy, whiny, clingy, just feed me your energy. Do for me what I need to do for myself. And I recognize it instantly, because it's not what I can help them with in this world. And it also is a big no for me in myself. But that falls into a rigidity of judgment. And so finding balance is where we want to go. And there is balance in diversity. They are different, but on this teeter-totter of life, their differences can bring us into balance. And so allowing others their truth without feeling not enough, because their truth is different. Their truth is what we determine is lovelier than ours right now. It is this very personal job. And it's so prevalent, the judgment of self, and especially of women. Unity in diversity and honoring differences. This is definitely a way to move forward for us. My chrysalis looks different than your chrysalis. And so, how can I move forward? The 8 of Earth came up, gaining knowledge, learning and employing a new craft or skill and a new set of ideas, learning a different way of exercising your gifts. Maybe it's an online class, maybe it's a craft, maybe you want to go to, we have a lovely woman here, Karen Gillette, who does these spiritually based paint and sips. And they're so fun and so lovely. And you don't have to be able to paint. But I can tell you, if you engage in a few of them, your ability to get across this picture gets better. But it's not about the doing it well. It is about bringing in a new way to express yourself, learning something new, a new skill, a new way of walking in the world, a new way. When you do that, when you bring in newness and you bring in a new aspect of walking in this world, you open up a whole lot more self-acceptance, balance, and less judgment. And certainly the pure love and joy tool is huge in that, and gratitude for what we do have. Several of the people on the thread this morning are living in RVs of some sort. And my heart breaks for them to have to live in something like that. Not that, I mean, but there needs to be a gratitude that they have something to live in, because there are other people who don't. And so finding gratitude for where you are, even within your pissy self, being grateful that you're aware that there are these things in you that are causing this dissonance inside, because the warrior, the Michael, the Archangel Michael archetype, that warrior is the hardest on self, because we want to be better in order to continue to be the warrior, to bring through the greater love, the greater peace, the greater balance, the greater acceptance of the others. And so we are always going to be first in our own energies, learning to heal in that chrysalis, which is where this word has come up over and over the last couple days, well, the last week, the chrysalis. That is that time of transformation. That is what the world is in. The way the cosmic energies are aligned right now with the new moon, remember, bringing through newness. This is the time. It is time to be in that new energy of choosing a different way. Good grand rising to you too, Francesca. And choosing to be the warrior for yourself first. And then that compassionate Archangel Michael that will tell you the truth that you may not want to hear, but will also do it with love and show you a way to move forward by letting go of another layer of that less than smooth, easy truth. It is usually kind of prickly and kind of heavy. So we are all in that transformational energy. We are all in a place of growth. None of us are perfect. And for me, that's a big hurdle that stands in front of me. When I make a mistake, and my non-perfection, it's really been fulminating in me this last week. The rigidity of that, the anger I have with myself, and the desire to run, to pull away from these groups that can actually help my healing, because I'm embarrassed that I was not perfect. So this is a huge one for me. We all have kind of a big thing, and it'll come up over and over. That's the truth about these themes, is they are always there for us to grow and to release another layer of. But the layers get thinner and they get further apart as we release more of them. So what is the big thing for you? What is the thing that keeps you locked in and not expanding? That is what wants to go. So this new moon energy, be focusing on more of what you desire to be, to have, to see in the world, and less of what you don't. In order to really get into that, we have to let go of some of the blocks, some of the meanness we feel about ourselves, and some of the truths that we are holding inside ourselves. What is true for you right now? Thank you so much for joining me. I'm Victoria Savage, Nurse Savage, on your side, your circle. Until we meet again.